Going to practice today plotting fractions on a number line from the least, which would be the smallest, to the greatest. So this is least is always going to be the smallest number, and the greatest is going to be the biggest number. Okay? So if we look here, if we're looking at fractions, we have 3 6, 1 6, and 5 6. Well, here they all have the same denominator. So if I'm going to put them in order from the least to the greatest, I just need to look at my numerator, my top number. So I'm going to pick the smallest top number because remember, on a number line, we're going to start with the smallest number. So here it would be 1 6, and then next one, which would be what? 3 6 or 5 6? Well, if I'm counting, I know the next one should be 3 6. And then the biggest number up here at the top is 5 6. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Again, same denominator, so I just need to look at my numerators. Okay? My least numerator, my smallest number on the top, right? Smallest number on the top, my smallest, this is my numerator. Smallest number on the top because I have matching denominator. My smallest numerator here is a 2, so it's 2 fifths. Then I'm going to do what? What's the next smallest one? 4 fifths. And then I'm going to end with 5 fifths. And that's putting fractions from the least to the greatest. All right, turn to the next page. So here I have 7 eighths, 1 eighth, and 5 eighths. Again, I'm going to look here. It says blank is furthest to the left and blank is furthest to the right, okay? So if we look here, what number would be furthest to the left? That would be our smallest one, which would be 1 eighth, is the farthest to the left. And the farthest to the right would be my 7 eighths. Okay, so if I'm going to put them in order, I'm going to start at the one that's the furthest to the left. Okay, I'm going to start with the furthest to the left and work my way in this direction. Start here, work this way. So I'm going to say 1 eighth, because that's the smallest one. Then the next one would be what? 5 eighths. And then my greatest one, the one that's the furthest in this direction, right, is 7 eighths. All right, so let's start looking, if we look here at a fraction strip, okay, and we're doing our two fractions, 2 fourths, 2 fourths, 2 thirds, 2 sixths. Well, if I know that the shortest one here, so if I look here, if I color in 2 fourths, right, 2 thirds, and then 2 sixths. So which one is the shortest out of these fraction strips? Which one is the shortest? Well, it would be 2 sixths. If I look at which one's the longest, it would be what? 2 thirds. So if I put them in order, it would be what? The smallest one, the shortest one, would be 2 sixths. Then the next one would be what? 2 fourths. And the greatest, the longest one, would be 2 thirds. But if you notice, I have matching numerators, which means that the smallest number is going to have the largest number in the denominator. So here, that would be the largest denominator. That's going to be the smallest one. All right, let's try. Order the fractions from least to the greatest. Again, I'm going to look. All of these have matching numerators, right? Which means that I'm going to look, and the bigger number is going to be my least greatest. So here I'm going to put what? 3 eighths. Then I'm going to have what? 3 fourths. And then I should end with 3 thirds. Okay, again, that's because I can do this because I have matching numerators. I just need to look at those denominators. Here I have what? Matching denominators. If I have matching denominators, my smallest number is going to be the number on the top. So my smallest one, my least greatest, is going to here be 4 tenths. then 9/10, and then 11/10. All right, turn to the next page. Let's try it again. Matching denominators. Matching denominators, all I got to do is look at my numerators. And I'm going to start at my smallest one. So I'm going to have 1, 6. What's the next one? If you said 5, 6, you are correct. 5, 6. And then 6, 6. See how it's going in order? 1, 5, 6. All right, here I have my matching numerators. If I'm matching numerators, remember I said you're going to pick the biggest number on the bottom. Your biggest number in your denominator is going to be your least fraction. So here I'm going to say 3/3, then 3 halves, and then 3/1. All right, here we have matching denominators. If I have matching denominators, I'm going to look for the smallest numerator on the top, smallest numerator. So is 5 the smallest, or 0 the smallest, or 3 the smallest? Okay, well, you should have said 0 is the smallest. So I'm going to have 0/4. What's the next smallest? 3/4, and then 5/4. Let's try number 6. Number 6, I have matching numerators. So I'm going to look for the biggest number on the bottom. Biggest denominator. So if I look, that's 12. So I'm going to start with 6/12 because that's the least. So this is the least. This is going to be the smallest fraction. Because remember, that bottom number is how many pieces I'm breaking it up into. The bigger the number on the bottom, the smaller the pieces. So I'm going to say 6/12, then 6/10, and then 6/5. Try it again. Let's look here. I have all matching denominators. So I'm going to look up here at the top and pick my smallest numerator. So is it a 4, a 3, or a 6? Which one's the smallest number? If you said 3, you are correct. So I'm going to put 3/8. And then which one's the next one? 4/8. And then 6/8. Here we have matching numerators. So on the bottom, we're going to pick the biggest number. So here the biggest number is 12 because that means it's cut into smaller pieces because there's a bigger number. It's cut into smaller pieces. Because if I cut a cake into 12 pieces, they're going to be small. Versus if I cut a cake into 3 pieces or 2 pieces. All right, so here I'm going to put 5/12. Then the next one should be 5/3. And then I end with 5 halves. All right, you don't need to worry about doing 9, 10, or 11. Turn over. Let's look at the real world math. A construction crew replaces 1/8 mile of a road on Monday, 1/4 of a mile of a road on Tuesday, and 1/6 of a mile of road on Wednesday. On which day does the crew replace the longest piece of road? Which means what is the greatest, the biggest fraction here? On which day does the crew replace the shortest piece? So let's look here. If I have 1/6, 1/8, 1/4. And I need to put them from the least to the greatest. From the smallest fraction to the greatest fraction. Well, if I look here, I have matching numerators. If I have matching numerators, that means I'm going to look for the biggest number on the bottom. Have a look at the biggest number on the bottom. I have a 8. So what's going to be the least? So I'm going to start with what? 1/8. That's the smallest one. Then I'm going to go 1/6, and then 1/4. So the greatest here would be 1/4. The least would be 1/8. So the crew replaces the longest piece of the road on the day that they do 1/4. 1/4 was on what day? 1/4 of the mile was on Tuesday. So this would be Tuesday. And the shortest piece, which is the 1/8, was on what day? If I look here, 1/8 of the mile of the road on Monday. So the answer here would be Monday. All right, let's look at your next page. And again, this top part is explaining it about the fraction strips and how to color it in and how it works on matching which one's the shortest and which one's the longest. Again, if I have matching numerators, I'm going to start with the biggest denominator because that is the smallest fraction. All right, here, if we look, we have matching numerators again. So that means, am I going to start at a 4, a 1, or a 3? Well, I'm going to start at the 4 because 4 is the biggest number there. So I'm going to say 8/4, then 8/3, and then 8/1. So if you notice, I started the biggest and I worked my way down to the smallest number. Here, I have matching denominators. So then I'm going to look at the top and I'm going to pick what should be the smallest number. The smallest number here is a 2. So I'm going to put 2/5, 3/5, and then 7/5. All right, next one, we have matching denominators again. So we're going to pick what? The smallest number on the top. So is the smallest number on top 16, 3, or 5? If you said 3, you are correct. So I'm going to say 3/8. And then the next smallest number would be what? 5/8. And then 16/8. All right, here we have matching again numerators. If we have matching numerators, we're going to pick the biggest number in the denominator on the bottom. So that would be an 8. So I would start with 4/8, 4/6, and then 4/2. All right, I want you to try to do 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. This is independent practice. 5, 6, 7, and 8.